Today, I'm gonna talk about how to make money through real estate investing. Now, there's 4 proven strategies. I'm gonna talk from wholesaling homes all the way to developing real estate and how I did that in less than 5 years and how you could do it too. Let's get into it. So these 4 strategies, let's get into it. We're gonna be talking wholesaling, fix and flipping, buying rentals, and then getting into real estate development. I'm gonna talk about how each one is a building block to the next to where you can keep leveling up your real estate experience. So let's start with wholesaling. This is the easiest way to get started if you have little or no money. I'm sure you've heard that many times. It's very true. I did it myself. If you don't know what wholesaling is, here's a great reference in an article to get started. Let me read a little bit for you from Investopedia to get started. So key takeaways in real estate wholesaling: a wholesaler contracts a home with the seller, then finds an interested party to buy it. The wholesaler contracts a home with a buyer at a higher price than they did with the seller and keeps the difference as profit. Real estate wholesalers generally find and contract distressed properties. Unlike flipping, a real estate wholesaler doesn't do any renovations or additions and carry no cost. So now that we have the basics covered on wholesaling, let's dive into why it's so important and it helps you in the future with your real estate journey. So if you're a good wholesaler and you're gonna level up to flipping, you're gonna have these traits. You're gonna have to be able to source deals. That's how you contract properties. So going direct to a seller is very important to where you're contracting it with them. At this time, you're selling it to a flipper or someone buying rentals, but that is gonna be a huge resource for you once you get into flipping. The other thing that you need to know is understanding ARV, that is after repair value. This again is gonna be important once you get to flipping because you need to know once you've fixed up the house, what's it gonna be able to sell for. Now, the most important part is understanding repair costs. Now, when you're wholesaling, you're contracting that property and selling it. But what you're really doing is you're getting the property at a price. You're understanding what the repair costs go into it. So now you're into it for X amount of dollars. And that's why knowing the ARV is important, because you could sell it for Y amount of dollars. And now you're able to price the property, make your profit in that wholesale deal. If you're a good wholesaler, you have all of these tools in your toolbox. Now you can start cherry picking those really good deals and turning them into fix and flips. So now let's talk about the building blocks on what you need to do well on a fix and flip to start making profits too. There's really 2 important things that you need to know. And we already talked about this, get even better on repair costs. But the one big thing, because you should know everything from your wholesaling journey, is hiring the right contractor. So I have flipped hundreds of homes and I have friends that have flipped thousands of homes. If you get a bad contractor, honestly, they're gonna steal money, leave the job, and now this is where your profits go away. It's super important to vet out contractors. So let me give you a few tips on what to do before you hire your contractor. So tip number 1 is they're gonna come in, they're gonna give you the budget that you think it needs. They're gonna say all of these things to impress you. But remember, they are selling you. They are the sales rep for their company. I don't care if they own it or if they work for it, but they are selling you. Go see at least 3 projects that they're currently working on and talk to the investor or the homeowner that is working with them to get a real referral. Number 2, once you decide to move forward, make sure that you have a contract outlining the scope of work that they're gonna be doing for you. Number 3, and that's when it comes to the money. So this goes back to number 2, there should be something in there identifying how you're going to be paying them. If they ask for all the money up front, run. They will not finish the job most likely. So what you wanna do is there should be a percentage, anywhere from 25% to 50% up front. So let's say they're doing a $40,000 remodel. I wouldn't do 50%. To get them started, you want like a week or 2. That would probably be between $5,000 and $10,000. And then you're having a schedule paying them for the work that they've done that's scoped out in the contract that you have with them. And 4th point is make sure you go or have someone go to the job site at least once a week to hold them accountable. These are the 4 basic steps to make sure that you can have a fix and flip go the right way. If you do not follow these step by step, you may have problems and see profits go away very quickly. So now let's transition into the 3rd way and the next evolution of real estate investing. and this is buying rentals. Now what's really great is you know how to wholesale now, you know how to fix and flip. Rentals are basically a breeze if you have both of these things mastered. Now let me tell you why. Looking for rental properties, finding deals isn't hard because you know how to wholesale, so that means you could go direct to seller. And now that you've flipped homes too, or you're flipping homes, now you have contractors that you trust, you're knowing repair costs, you're knowing your scope of work, to now it's just what type of strategy do I get in to start buying my rentals. Now the key is picking a strategy and committing to it. Are you gonna do Airbnbs? Are you gonna buy single family homes? Are you gonna start buying multifamily, duplexes, fourplexes, eightplexes? What is it that you wanna do? What market are you going to? Are you gonna stay in the market that you're at? But I've talked to a lot of very, very successful people. There's no right or wrong way to do one, but learn how to get really good at one strategy. I have a friend in Phoenix, Zach Keeps. He has 300 single family doors. That's all he buys. He doesn't buy multifamily. A lot of people are successful with multifamily, but he always goes back to the point to me is, I know what I'm good at, I have my buy box, and that's what I buy. And you just keep going. Now I have people with Airbnbs. That's all they do. Each way that you rent out a property is a little bit different. So pick a strategy and commit to it. So now that you're printing money like Google with all of your rental properties, let's talk about tax savings. And what I'm going to talk about specifically is cost segregation. So let's dive into this great article by the Real Estate CPA real quick. As mentioned above, cost segregation can reduce taxes and greatly increase the cash flow of a property, especially in its early year of operation. Thanks to the Tax Cut and Job Act, use personal property placed into service after 9/27/2017 is eligible for 100% bonus depreciation. That means real estate investors can deduct 100% of 5, 7, and 15-year properties all in the first year. This is what makes cost segregation so powerful and can lead to significant tax savings. Of course, the building itself will still have to be depreciated over 27.5 or 39 years, and the land remains undepreciable. So guys, this may be a little confusing, talk to a CPA, but what it's really doing is the first year you get a property, and it could be a single family, it could be a multifamily, or it could be a commercial building. But what it's doing is it's offsetting a ton of your taxes up front to where you're taking a lot of that depreciation all in that first year. And it's very, very helpful if you're doing really good in wholesaling and fix and flipping. So let's get into the fourth and last way on how you typically make money investing in real estate. And that's development, or buying big old multifamily projects. This is everyone's end goal. And this is why it's so important. So now if you've wholesaled, fixed and flipped, and now bought rentals, you have all of these building blocks. One, with wholesaling, you can still source big deals to find development projects. Now you're just looking for land. That's what I'm currently doing. And then with fix and flipping, you have good contractors, repair costs. You're gonna have to learn a little bit of the build cost side of things. And then the next thing is when you buy these rental properties, as you've already bought, you're now gonna know how to analyze those properties. It's no different, it's just on a more massive scale. And that's where I am in my real estate journey now. I'm not wholesaling anymore. I'm not doing very much flipping. We're buying rentals and we're actually developing stuff too. And that's what excites me. So the benefits of being a developer is we've just started this. I am in no way an expert. We're about a year in. We're just breaking ground on a few projects. But why I wanted to make this video, as I said, is all of the stuff I've learned from everything I've done already in real estate has got me to this point. I keep pushing. So all I could say to you guys is make sure if you started wholesaling, get to flipping. If you're wholesaling and flipping, get to rentals, and so on and so forth till you keep pushing yourself to become that crazy investor that people look up to, that's developing properties and has this great portfolio and massive knowledge of real estate investing. I hope this was helpful. Make sure to keep building those fundamentals to crushing your real estate dreams. Thank you so much. Check out these other videos right here. Follow me on social media.